got a great keynote for you guys today. Before we bring Eric up, there's just a couple of announcements we have to get to. I'll be brief. If you haven't already used it, there's free Wi-Fi in all the keynote breakout sessions, dining and networking areas. The network name is Affiliate Summit. The password is case sensitive, so capital ASW12. You can follow Affiliate Summit on Twitter, get all the news, promos, find out what all your friends are up to, where they're at. Use the hashtag ASW12 and add Affiliate Summit. You can also check in on Foursquare. If you're loving all the social media stuff, go ahead and check in with Affiliate Summit West 2012 there. Thinking ahead, there is Affiliate Summit East is going to be taking place August 12th and 14th in New York City. There at the Hilton. So registration is open, so take advantage of the early bird pricing. Hop on that Wi-Fi, register for that. It'll be a very, very fun event. As we build all the affiliate summits, it's really important to get the feedback. That's how they get better and better shows. So the beginning of all the sessions, you'll be handed a slip of paper. Just jot down your thoughts, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see. And then they use that to build up some great shows. So every day there's going to be 10 people that are going to win Gold Pass to the Affiliate Summit East. So really good chances there, too, to attend the show in New York. So let's hear what you have to say on the feedback. You can also join Affiliate Summit on their forum. Registration is free, so in between the events, if you want to do some networking and, again, learning and just education in general, that's forum.affiliatesummit.com. During any of the sessions, if you've got questions, maybe you don't want to, raise your hand, or maybe you've lost your voice from all the Vegasing that you've been doing, you can submit those questions online. They have tweet and online forum and text available. In all the sessions, the unique number will be listed on the slide, so take advantage of that as well. It's a really cool way to ask all the questions that you may have. All right, these are huge shows, growing and growing. There's 5,087 people here today. Woo! Big show, biggest affiliate summit to date, so it's also very exciting. Continues to grow and grow, and we're all a part of that fantasticalness. At 3:30 this afternoon, Jeremy Shoemaker will also be speaking. That'll be right here in the same room, so we hope to see you back this afternoon. All right, so without further ado, those are the quick announcements. We'll bring up Eric. Eric Thomas is a YouTube sensation, also known as E.T. the Hip-Hop Preacher. He has taken the attention of students, athletes, educators, and corporate executives of all ages, interests, and backgrounds hostage with his energetic and heartfelt messages of hope, persistence, and moving beyond your circumstances. The Detroit native's understanding of the importance of education and the obstacles that hinder its pursuits remains unparalleled by colleagues in his field and enables him to connect with his audience on a more intimate level. Having followed the generational path of high school dropouts in his own family, Eric transitioned from being hopeless and homeless to being an iconic figure of the process of the success and the determination it takes to obtain it. He has committed his life to speaking across the country to enlighten others of the importance of education, the access it provides, and the way to the American dream. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Eric Thomas.
I know we're up and coming, but I feel as if we made it. Imagination is greater than public education.
That was a lot. As I was listening to the bio, I was like, that's a lot. I don't know who that guy is, but that's a lot. We're gonna have to. I'll have to call my agent. We have to bring that down a little bit. Some big words there. I am so excited. I know it's we're almost halfway through January, but just Happy New Year to everybody. Put your hands together. I need some energy. Come on, Happy New Year. I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited. Before I get into my presentation, I just want you to know I am so excited. I don't know about you, but I just think 2012 is going to be phenomenal. And we're here. What better place, right, to start than Las Vegas, right? Come on. What better place? Look at this environment. For those of you who've had a chance to read any books out there by Malcolm Gladwell, one of his latest books, he talks about, in The Outliers, he talks about the importance of environment, right? The importance of environment. It's funny, I tell some of the professors I work with at Michigan State, when they talk about some of our minority students and not really understanding what some of our minority students go through, I have to explain to them that they come from different environments, right? And so when you come from a different environment, you don't have the same exposure that other people have. It makes a huge difference. And I just know in my family, I'm excited. I don't know about you, but I'm excited because every day when I wake up, if I'm not on the road, I'm in my son's life and my father wasn't in my life. And it's a total different experience. You know, and I always tell my son, you're doing a lot better than me. He said, Dad, why do you always say that? I say, because you don't have some of the hang-ups that I had because I'm in your life. All right. And so I'm excited. I've got a couple points for you. I don't know if we're ready. I think we're almost there. We're good. All right. So I just want to share a couple things with you. The first thing I want to share, and again, I'm excited just because, you know, they talked about the American dream, and I just believe that, you know, we all have an opportunity for success. How many people, you're not where you want to be right now, but you're hoping by the end of this year, everything you're dreaming about, hoping for, everything you want, you're going to get that? Raise your hand. Now, I know some of you're already there, but there are a couple of us, right? We're still moving toward that. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this idea of success, right? And I get so excited about it because I didn't have the greatest start. You know, unfortunately, my mother got pregnant with me at 17 years old. She had me when she was a senior in high school. She had me out of wedlock because my grandmother had 14 other children at the time. My mother was kicked out of the house, and so she was homeless for a certain amount of time. But I'm just so excited about the fact that it's not how you start, but how you finish that counts. Anybody else not have a great start, but you need a great finish? All right. Anybody not have a great? I don't know if I'm the only person in the room. You didn't have the greatest start, but you're looking to have a great finish. And I was so excited last year, being a high school dropout, you know, being homeless, you know, and having an opportunity last year because of the American dream, writing my first book. I was just so excited that it doesn't, even though there are no authors in my family, I'm one. Even though I was the first one to go to college, I got that 4-year degree. Took 12 years, but I got it. Right? And you know what's so beautiful about, you know, when they pass out your degrees, even though it took 12 years, you know, I love it that they don't put out the time frame. You know, they don't put the time frame. Some of you got it in 4, so it doesn't bother you. But for the rest of us, like, we're excited that they just don't put the date down, like when you started, when you finished. It's the same thing. And then I'm excited today. I'm not talking to you, you know, a kid with a silver spoon in his mouth. You know, I'm not talking to you from a person who grew up in an affluent family, you know, and who started from the top. And the reason why I start like that, because while there may be people who identify with that group, and that's not a problem, there are a lot of us in the room that don't. And I want to give you courage. I want you to know that you can start from the bottom, right? And if you just stick with it, you hang in there, some of the principles I'm going to talk about today, that you can literally get to the top. And now I am only a dissertation away from completing my PhD. And so my mom picked me up yesterday. We got in the room, you know, and my mom was reading all the little information, and she remembers, of course, when I was homeless and living in abandoned buildings in Detroit, a high school dropout. And my mom stood in the middle of the suite, and she said, "Son, you made it. Son, you actually, you made it." And I said, "Mom, you taught me some great stuff. I know there were some bumps along the way, right? But we got there, all right?" And I want to encourage somebody, you've been at this for a while, you've been doing it for a while, and you're not where you want to be. I want you to hold on. 12 years to get a 4-year degree. I want you to hold on. Master's degree. I want you to hold on. PhD. I want you to hold on. Author of my first book. I want you to hold on. It may not happen in the time that you think is going to happen, but I want you to know something. If you quit, it's never going to happen. If you quit, if you give up, if you stop, if you do not persevere, listen to me, you will never see it. And I tell people all the time, I didn't get here through academics. I got here because I refused to quit. I said, I've been through enough pain, I got to get a reward for it. Enough failures, I got to get a reward for it. Like, I can't stop here, because if I stop here, I'm going to be another statistic. So I want to share just a couple things with you today. Again, I am excited. I'm excited. This is going to be a great year. I don't know for you, I don't really know what success means for you. All right? I don't know what that means for you, because I talk about success a lot. I don't know what that means for you. That could mean a lot of things for you. All right? And again, success is based on individuality. I don't know what it means for you, but what I do know is whatever it is you want, whatever it is you want to be, whatever it is you want to do, I want you to know you can do it. All right? I just want you to look at some of these images, because I don't know what exactly it is you want to do, but I do know one thing. In my book, I talk about the fact that it starts with a vision. And I'm not going to say anything new to you today. I'm not going to say anything that you've probably never heard before. I'm going to try to say it in a way that motivates you, that inspires you, that encourages you. But listen to me. I want you to know that information changes situations. And that's why we're in this room today. And I want you to know that I don't know each one of you individually, but I know a lot about you already. If you're up at 10 o'clock in the morning and you're in this place, you understand that information changes situations. You understand that. Now listen to me. When I talk about getting my GED, that's where it all started for me. That's why I'm so passionate about education. And I'm not passionate about degrees. I'm passionate about information because it was information. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, the block that I grew up on. I can name how many guys went to college, but I can tell you more went to jail. I can tell you more of my friends that I grew up with in high school are dead, 6 feet under. But what made the difference in my life is information. I got some information some of those guys didn't get. And that little information changed my life forever. So again, I don't really know what success looks like for you. I know what it looks like for me. One of the things it looks like for me is family. I know that's important for me, right? That's important for me. Family is important. Why? Because my father wasn't in my life. His father wasn't in his life. And so when people ask me, Eric Thomas, what is your greatest accomplishment? They think I'm going to talk about how much money I make, the community that I live in, some of the places that I travel to. My greatest accomplishment is I've been married 21 years, and I have not in 21 years cheated on my wife. That's my greatest accomplishment. That's my greatest accomplishment. Family. That's my greatest accomplishment because we don't have a legacy of family in my home. And so every single day, that's what I pursue, family. That's first and foremost to me, family and my faith. Being there for my children. One of my greatest joys this year was my daughter came home and said, Dad, you're home off the road. I got great news for you, Dad. I said, what is it? She said, I made the basketball team. She said, I didn't make the A team, Dad. I made the B team. I'm saying, good. She said, I thought you were going to be disappointed. I said, nope, because Michael Jordan didn't make the A team. And I said, baby girl, you started just where Michael Jordan started. As a matter of fact, you started off a little better than Michael Jordan. He got kicked off his high school team. And I said, I'm so grateful that you're on the B team because on the B team, what I can guarantee is you're going to stay hungry and you're going to stay thirsty and you're never going to settle until you get to A. So let's go to Foot Locker and buy my baby girl some shoes. I bought her some shoes. I was so excited. Bought her first pair. You know, I didn't know any better. I'm a dad. I'm going in looking for all the women's Foot Lockers, all that. And I found out that really, you know, her feet are so big that you have to go get boys' shoes. So I said, sweetheart, there's a change of plans. We've got to go to men's Foot Locker, all right? That's all right. We're going to get you these shoes. And so I'm so excited. So excited. My son called me the other day. He said, Dad, you know, I took your word. I went and I met with my professor. I sat down, talked to my teachers. I'm having problems in math. You know, I'm doing well on the homework, but for whatever reason, it's not translating to the test. And so I told my son, go talk to the teacher. Sit down. You know, get a tutor, son. Go up to Michigan State, get a tutor. So one of my greatest accomplishments, and again, for you guys, you know, everybody's different, but for me, it's family, it's my faith. All right? And so I don't know what it is for you, but this is what I need you to do for me. All right? Because people always ask me, Eric Thomas, how did you go from homeless and a high school dropout to where you are? Like, give me the first step. What's the first step? And the first step for me was seeing something I was not before I was. I'm going to say that to you again because I get excited when I say that. Because that's what changed my life. I was homeless. I was a high school dropout. I was living in abandoned buildings. I don't know anybody from the Midwest, but it gets cold in December. It's cold in January. It's cold in February. And an abandoned building is no place for a 16, a 17, or an 18-year-old. But what changed my life was somebody gave me vision. Somebody said to me in that state that, Eric Thomas, you have something great in you. You're going to be a minister. You're going to be a motivator. You're going to be a community activist. You can do it. Where you are is temporary. You will not be there for the rest of your life. And of course, you know, I debated the guy because I thought he was just saying that because he was a pastor. You know, that's what pastors are supposed to say. Like, what pastor do you know will come and say, you know what, I think you're a loser. You're a thug, and you're not going to do anything with your life. And so I told the pastor, I said, Pastor, you know, I want to say thank you. I appreciate those kind words. But between me and you, Pastor, there's no way I'm going to be those things. There's no way I'm going to ever go to college. He said, well, why would you say that? I said, because my daddy didn't go to college. My grandfather didn't go to college. My mother didn't go to college. Nobody in my family has ever gone to college. He said, that's why they call it history, because it's never been done before. And you're going to make history, son. When I walked away from that place that day, I came back every single week for church. And every time I came back, I thought about it. You know what? He might be right. He might be right. And you know what's so funny? What's so funny is all my accomplishments have come from him believing in me before I believed in myself. But it started with a vision. And so I need you to do this for me. Like, I don't care what happens in your life. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care where you are. Every single day you wake up, if you're going to have energy, if you're going to have passion, if you're going to have drive, every day you wake up, you've got to start with that vision. I don't care what's going on around you. I keep hearing that we're in a recession. Like, I've been hearing that for the last few. We're in a recession. It's a great depression. But I was in Chicago for Christmas, the Magnificent Mile, and it was packed. And I saw parents coming out with their daughters with the American Dolls. And I don't know if you know how much the American Doll costs, but that's quite a bit. And they didn't just have one American Doll. I saw some kids with 2 or 3, and they had the outfits to go with it. And I said, we're in a recession. Somebody didn't get the memo. We're in a recession. Like, they're buying toys. Like, did you not get? We're in a recession. You shouldn't be buying toys. We're broke. We don't have any money. Those people walking out the Cheesecake Factory, it was packed. I couldn't get a plate. It took like 50 minutes to sit down and get they didn't get the memo. And so what I want you to do for me every day when I wake up, people say, why are you so excited? Because I have a mental picture of where I want to be. I have a mental picture of what I want to do. And even when I was in that abandoned building, I saw that I would not be in an abandoned building forever. And I was homeless once. Now I own 2 homes. Because my vision, although my circumstance was homeless, my vision wasn't. You need to hear what I just said. I want you to make sure you put that in here. Even though my circumstance was homelessness, my vision wasn't homelessness. I saw myself in a different place. And this is the first time in my life I spent the new year not at home watching the ball drop. That's what I do every year. I watch the ball drop. And this year I spent 7 days on the Caribbean island off of an ocean front with just me and my wife. And I told my wife, I need you to retire. She retired before for 2 years, and then she went back to work. And I said, you know what? I like this version at the Caribbean is better than the other version. Like, you're nicer with the ocean front. I just like the ocean front. I like you here. I just like you here better. I don't know what it is. Right? She's shopping and buying watches. She just seems like a different personality. It's a different person. I like this person better. And she said, well, if you like this person better, you know what you need to do. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You know what you need to do. I wasn't working before, but you didn't have enough money for insurance, so I had to go back for insurance. So I can quit, but you know what you need to do. And so I need you to do me a favor, guys. I need you to keep that vision, all right? All right, so I'm going to give you a couple points, all right? So first thing I want you to see, this is a seed, all right? So somebody needs to write this down because it's important. Trust me, when I tell you you are going to get where you want to get to, these are not just words. I mean it, right? If you follow the principles that I'm giving you, the principles that you're getting this week, all right, over the next couple days, I guarantee you're going to go to the next level. If you were to look at this image, what do you see? Somebody help me out. I just need one person to tell me, what do you see? A seed. Somebody said planting a seed, right? So let's just pretend that's an apple seed. So when most people look at that, they would just see that that's an apple seed, right? But in reality, it's not really just an apple seed. In reality, it's a what? It's an apple tree. I like this guy. I like this guy, Rob. I like Rob. Rob is smart. I like that. Rob said, listen to me, this is not a seed. This is not a seed. And if you get caught up, listen to it. I just want you to look because I want you to see this. We're going to look at it together because we got to get this vision in our mind. If you look at this seed and you believe that this is a seed, then that's going to be your outcome. But if you realize that this is really not a seed, that it's a tree, and while you are in the beginning stages of whatever you're doing, you're not going to always be there because the essence of who you are, the essence of what you're going to be, the essence of what you're going to accomplish is all in that seed. You're not a seed. What you're doing is the beginning stages of a seed, but you're not going to stay at that level forever. I told you, a high school dropout. I've got a game that I play. It's called the PayPal sound. And every time we sell a book, our phones make a noise. Ding. Ding. It's a beautiful sound. It's a beautiful sound. Ding. And oftentimes when I hear the ding, I go by my wife. You know, I want her to hear the sound. Because there was a point in my life where my wife said, I don't really believe that what you're doing, you should just, let's be honest, for those of us in this room, we've had this experience before. My wife is an 8 to 5 person. And when I started my career speaking and doing the thing, my wife said, we have a family. You need to get a real job. Hey, talk to me. You need to get a real. And so my mother would call. Her and my mother would have conversations. And so my mother would call because she has influence with me as well. And she'd say, son, I know you're traveling and speaking. That's great, son. But you've got a family now. And you need to get a real job. Right? And so now, every time the ding, I run in the room where my wife is so she can hear the real job. Ding. I just want, come here, I want you to hear it. Ding. And she got the seed confused with the tree. And it's understandable because that's what she saw. That's at that time, she could only see a seed, but I didn't see the seed. I saw a tree. From the beginning, I knew that this is going to turn into something if I just stick with it, if I just hang in there. And I don't know if you guys know how difficult it is when you come home and you hear a real job. That could be challenging sometimes when you have children. And my son had asthma, and my wife would always say to me, he's got asthma, so he's going to the hospital regularly. You're going to need a job with benefits. What do you need to know that you don't know now? Listen to me. I need you to. I need you to think right now. You're not necessarily just listening to me right now because I'm about to take you to a whole nother level. What do you need to know to be, to do, to have what you want that you don't know right now? What do you need? What do you need? And that's why I went to college. I did not go to college to get a degree, but I understood, and listen to me, I'm being transparent. I knew coming up in Detroit, Michigan, growing up in the environment that I grew up in, that there was some information that I needed to know to be successful that was not in that community. Does it make it a bad community? No, I can't hear you. Does it make it a bad community? It just meant that the information that I needed was not in that. So I needed to leave that community so I could get the information that I needed to get. And so I'm saying to you, there's some good people in this room. I was a good person. I wanted to be successful. When I taught my GED class, when I traveled the world and I would help kids, girls who had gotten pregnant, I helped them to get jobs, get their life. I thought some millionaire would come up to me one day and say, Eric, you're doing a wonderful job. Here's a check for $1 million. I thought somebody would just come to me. Somebody from the government would say, you're doing a great job, Eric. Here's a grant. But guess what? It never what? It never happened. And in the beginning, I got discouraged. I wanted to give up. I wanted to quit. I wanted to stop pursuing my dreams and my goals. And somebody came to me and said, Eric, you can do it, but you got the wrong information. You don't have the right information. And so I don't know what happened to me, but I started picking up books. The first book was Dr. Ben Carson, Gifted Hands. And that book changed my life because as I read through Dr. Ben Carson's book, it wasn't just the fact that he became a neurosurgeon, but he was from Detroit. He walked the same streets I walked. When I read the book, I recognized stores. I recognized streets. I recognized names. And people ask me all the time, why did you wear a Detroit Tiger hat on the cover of your book? So that every kid from the hood, from Detroit, that when he walked past and he saw this book, he would believe that that's somebody like me. There's somebody that came from my neighborhood, from my background, under my same circumstances that made it happen. So I cannot have a victim's mentality. I have to have a victim's mentality. If Eric Thomas can do it, if Eric Thomas can go from being homeless, a high school dropout, not having his father in his life, anybody could do it. And so I'm asking you this question. You got to get this one. What do you need to know that you don't know right now? What information, what books do you need to read? What mentors do you need? What circles do you need to hang around? Do you know I had to change one of the hardest things, and I don't know if you guys have had to do this because most of you probably, you probably you have an advantage in that all of the people who are your friends growing up are also a part of this business. So some of my best friends, some guys who have been there for me, who had helped fight for me, who had given me money, I had to make a decision that these guys were not in the best interest of my Fab Five, that these individuals could not take me to where I wanted to go. And so I knew that I needed to hang around a different type of people, which is why I went to Michigan State University. Let me tell you a story that blew my mind. When I walked in the room, I don't know if you've been in grad school, but you need at least a 3.0 to stay in that particular program. And my first paper was a 2.5. It doesn't take rocket science to know if you keep getting 2.5s. You're not going to be in the program. What do you need to know that you don't know? And I was trying my hardest. Like, honestly, I put forth all my effort. Second paper, 2.5. And I said, Eric, what do you need to know that you don't know right now? And who knows it? And I saw a guy in the class named Todd. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. As a kid, Detroit is the most segregated city in the United States of America. You only hang around people from your same culture. So I had never really been outside my culture before. But I knew the information that I needed wasn't in my culture. I knew the information that I needed was not in my circle of influence. So I needed to come out of that particular place to get the knowledge that I needed so I can go forth and make my dreams become a reality. I don't know where you guys are from, but somebody said use what you got to get what you want, which means that you don't have every skill, but use the skills that you do have to get the skills you don't have. And I've always grown up in the hood, so I have deductive reasoning. You say, what does that mean? I'm just a scenario. There's a car doing 50 miles per hour in Detroit nighttime, and all of a sudden, and it stops and it's doing 10, and the windows start coming down. And it turns and comes your way. Well, if you're from Detroit, you kind of know what that means. That doesn't mean you walk up to the car and ask, can I give you, sir, you need directions. In that particular situation, that means that, we just like gazelles. Everybody runs, and we ask later, why were we running? But that's deductive reason. It means that I observe my surroundings. I observe my community. I observe what's going on in my environment, and I make decisions. And so when I went to Michigan State University, I knew I wasn't the smartest guy in the class, but I knew I had deductive reasoning. And I knew I didn't know what I needed to know to stay in that program and be successful. And so I watched the professor, and I noticed that every so often he called on Todd. And whenever Todd would answer, he'd light up. I said, I need to get to meet Todd. I can't talk to the teacher. I don't know if the teacher and I are on the same level. But Todd is a peer. I can talk to Todd. I said, Todd, where are you from? Kansas City. I said, Todd, are you from Kansas? Any family in Michigan? No. Todd, would you like a home-cooked meal? Yes, I'd like my mom could make you a home-cooked meal. And Todd and I started hanging out, and I started asking Todd. I said, Todd, I'm going to be honest with you. I want to stay in this program, and I don't have any family members that can help me with the courses that we're taking. I don't have anybody in my community that has that I grew up with that has an advanced degree. But I want to graduate with a master's in this program. Can you help me out? He said, no problem. I can help you out. I said, all I need is the right information. He said, the first thing you need to do, Eric, is you need to change your outfit. You need to change your outfit. I said, I need to change my outfit. He said, yeah, Eric, you need to change your outfit. I said, what's wrong with my outfit? He said, well, you're coming to class and you got like these Black Panther Party paraphernalia that you're wearing. He's like, and I'm not against that at all. Trust me, I'm not against that. But that's like with Malcolm X with a gun, Eric. That's a little intimidating to the teacher, Eric. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just proud of my heritage. He's like, and also I could tell because you're the only minority in the class and you don't feel comfortable. You're sitting in the back, but the teacher doesn't know that you're sitting in the back because you don't feel comfortable. He gets a different message that you're not really interested in the class. I need you to sit up front. Every class, I need you to sit up front, Eric. I need you to do me another favor. It's just information. So I need you to do me another favor. Now, you might think I'm the smartest guy in the class. I'm really not. But the teacher loves me because I give him eye contact. I just need you to give him eye contact and just smile at him sometimes, Eric. Just smile. And when he says something, act like it's deep. Shake your head and go, that's just deep. Wow. It's great. It's great. He said, all right, got another thing for you, Eric. What I want you to do is I want you to change your outfit. I want you to do the khakis and the loafers, right? And we had a different outfit. And he turned me on to Abercrombie & Fitch. So I bought a couple Abercrombie & Fitch shirts. I'd never heard of it before. So I put the shirt on. I come to class. I sit up front. I'm shaking my head. Right? He said, I got one other thing for you. The teacher's published. What I need you to do is he has 3 books. I need you to read his books. And all I need you to do when you read it is just take a sentence out. And when you come to class, question him about what he wrote. Now, he's the pedagogical genius in this community. And so come in and ask him questions about professional development and teaching. I was like, I got it. And so every now and then I just raise my hand and I would just ask a question and the teacher would light up. I got a 3.5 out of the class. And the teacher wrote at the end, you were the most improved student in my class. And currently, I graduated from that degree with a 3.7. Why? Because there was some knowledge that I did not have, that I needed to get, that I went to the right person. I had to humble myself. I had to be vulnerable. But I had to go to the person who had what? Who had the information. And guess what? Once he gave it to me, it's mine now. And guess what I did? After every single class, I brought that to every single class. And all my teachers thought I was paying attention, but I had mastered the art of body language. Deep. Genius. All right, how can you leverage yourself? How can you leverage your opportunity for success? I'm going to come back to that. All right, this one I think is important to me. It says failure is not an option. All right, and one of the things that we have to do as we're pursuing our dreams and our goals is that we have to know that failure is not an option. You know, and you got to hear this one. This one is important because you've got to tell yourself, despite, again, the circumstances, the situations, you have to tell yourself that, listen to me, I'm not going anywhere until I get the goal. Like until I make my dreams become a reality, I'm not quitting. I don't care how much money I have to invest. I don't care how much time I have to invest. I'm going to continue to do this until I become successful. All right, I've got a rule called the show up rule. All right, somebody said you can pretend that you care, but you can't pretend that you're there. All right, I'm going to say it again. Real simple. I told you I got a GED, so I'm not really deep. Right? You can pretend that you care, but you can't pretend that you're there. The only way you can be there is to show up. And what I'm asking you to do for me, you'll never be a failure if you show up every single day. Listen to me. Listen to me. People say, are you like this every day? Every single day I'm like this. Like I try, colds don't even like me. The flu doesn't like me. Sickness doesn't like me. It's like this guy's got too much energy. Right? I've got to calm down. Even in this room right now, I just wanted to run up and down. I was just so excited when I got in here for this opportunity, right? But every single day when I come, I show up and I let failure know. Failure is not an option. So what? It takes 12 years to get it forward. Failure is not an option. So what? I put myself in a PhD program when I know that to be a great person in the PhD program, you have to read well, you have to write well, which are my two greatest weaknesses. But failure is not an option. If anybody's ever gotten a PhD before from my community, it means I can do it. Failure is not an option. You can't even let it sink into your brain, not even a second. You have to know that this thing is going to work. Come hell or high water, whatever it is that I set out to do, it may not happen in 6 months, it may not happen in a year, it may not happen in 2 years, but at some point, my dream is going to become a reality. I want to read that. I want you to see it. Failure is not an option. All right? Failure, when your best just isn't good enough. All right? What do? All right, so we're going to go over these. I'm excited. We're going to go over these slides. All right, let's get ready. You're going to need to pull out pen and pad, all right? If I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 things that do not work. Right? And who wrote that? Yep. Thomas said, come on. Listen to me. We're about to transition because these are the things that help me change my thought patterns. They help me to change my mindset. Listen to me. It's 10,000 things that didn't work, and all I have to do is the next one, and once I do the next one or the one after that or the one after that, bam, I'm going to be successful. I'm telling you, every time I stand up here and do what I'm doing, all I can remember was sleeping in abandoned buildings. That's all I could think about. But I kept trying, and I kept trying, and I kept trying, and I tell people I am not the rabbit, I'm the turtle, but I kept going. I was consistent, and I'm standing here today. And so we're not going to fail. Number one, we're not going to fail. We're not going to give up. We talked about this earlier. Everybody can see. Everybody has sight, but very few people have vision. All right? Very few people have vision. I need you to get vision. We talked about that. I have a vision for 2012. The vision is written down. It's on paper. I see the vision every day. When I wake up, I'm pursuing that vision. What's the vision, Eric Thomas? I see myself every day. I spend 5 minutes watching myself put on that robe and accepting the PhD. Every day I wake up 5 minutes. Listen to me. Whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, you're not going to be able to make it happen if you don't have a dream party every day. Like you've got to have a dream session. You've got to take out 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however much time you have, and you've got to actually go in a room, close the door, and you've got to see yourself doing it. You've got to feel yourself doing it. You've got to actually walk in it. You've got to go in the future, live it out, come back in the present, and start working toward it. The reality show. We're going through, I'm telling everybody, 2012, that's the year. We've had 2 networks that call us. You know, we weren't really interested. We're going for the big one. We want Oprah. We're going for the big one. Because we know one show with Oprah will change our lives forever. And we're walking through. We're walking right here. Caesar Pass. We're walking right through. And the camera's out. And everybody's looking like, who is this guy? Like, why has this guy got a camera on him? And we're doing a reality show right now. We're on a plane, the reality show. We're not waiting for Oprah to come to us. When Oprah comes, we're already going to have the reality show ready. When Oprah gets to us, we're already going to have, what do you want, Oprah? For season 1, you want to look at season 2, what season do you want to see, Oprah? It's done. Every single day, we're not waiting for it to happen. We just don't have sight. Sight is for people who live in the present. We have vision. We're going to make it happen before it happens. I don't know if you caught what I told you, but I work hard. This was the first year of my life that I spent the first 7 days in the Caribbean island on the ocean. And I didn't even do it on purpose. But what I learned was spend the first 7 days in your vision. Because sometimes when you work, and you don't take time to sit back and reflect, you don't make the changes necessary to grow. And you stay where you are. You stay in that circle. And so this one is important. Please do me a favor. If you don't do anything else other than say you're not going to quit, you're not going to give up, you're not going to fail, listen to me. I need you to do this for me. This is important. I need you every single day to spend at least 5 to 10 minutes that you will devote to seeing yourself being successful. Now, I need those pessimistic people in the room to do me another favor. For every minute that you think you can't do it, I need you to offset it with dreaming about the fact that you can. No, I'm being honest. For those of you who spend an hour, just depressed, this is not going to work. My friends are successful and I'm not. I'm going to quit. I'm a failure. If you have a 30-minute pity party, I need you to have an hour success party. I need you to offset that, right? I need you to offset it. My daughter, she can't cook, but as a father, I just can't say, sweetheart, you can't cook. And so I just put more sugar in it. I offset it. Dad, why are you putting so much sugar in it? Don't worry, sweetheart. I just like sugar. Right? Oatmeal is just disgusting, right? But I just can't do that to my baby. You can't cook. And so I just put more butter, more sugar. That's all. And I stir it up. Milk, please. And we make something else. And then I just got to go run it off, right? But I don't want to hurt her. Listen to me. For those of you, you sit there and you get on the phone and you let people talk to you and say, you can't do it. I'm not telling you it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen for me. I only have 24 hours in a day. I don't have time to do that. That's weakness, and it destroys what I'm trying to accomplish. But if you do that for 30 minutes, if you complain, do me a favor. Just give me an hour where you say, I'm just going to dream about what I can do. Okay? Do that for me. All right. Let's watch this. Vision versus sight. All right? Work versus wishing. Work versus what? Listen to me. I wish you could just go see my life, because when you talk about stuff, it's one thing. It took me 10 years to write this book. And why did it take so long? It took so long. The story didn't change. As a matter of fact, if you read the book, I stopped the book about 10 years ago. I stopped writing about 2003. 2003, I stopped writing. I have not written about what happened in my life from 2003 up to this point. I could have written the book a long, long time ago. But why didn't I finish the book? Because every day I was wishing, thinking, talking about the book, and not physically getting up and writing the book. And then one day it hit me. If you have the story in your head, if you have a MacBook Pro, right? If you have time, what is it that you're not doing? And when I looked at my life and I wrote everything down, and I wrote down why I wasn't successful. And I don't know if you're like me, but you go to the bookstore and you buy a book and you're excited about the book, but when you know you're supposed to be an author, you're kind of looking around like, my book should be in stores. 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, people would call me, Eric, where's the book? When's the book coming out? And I realized the only thing you have not done as it relates to the book is work on it. That's the missing ingredient. And there are those of you in the room, just like me, there are people who say, Eric Thomas, I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to be a change agent. I want to do what you do. And I say, you don't. You want what I have, but you don't want to do what I do. I was so proud yesterday. I spoke for the first gig of 2012 was for the NFL Players Association in San Antonio, Texas, and I made a statement. I said, because of my background and because my family isn't connected, and because I don't come from an affluent background and my parents can't give me seed money, there's one thing that they don't have to give me that we all have. I have the same advantage that everybody else has. If a guy grows up in an affluent community, he doesn't have an advantage if he doesn't work the advantage. The advantage doesn't work if he's not working it. And so I wake up every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the advantage that I have. You can't tell me when to wake up. Like, I don't care who you are, or you're not with me in the morning, so I can get up whenever I want to, and I can start on my dreams whenever I want to start on my dreams. And every day, 3:30, I wake up and I start on my dreams. And there was a white male there named Willie, and he was talking. He was saying, he was bragging to the players and saying, and to the coaches that, he said, look, guys, every time I do a conference, I'm always the first one there. Nobody ever beats me, except this morning. Eric Thomas beat me. So that's right. That's what you can't. The one thing I can do, I may not have money. I may not have connections, but the one thing I do have is I have the ability to get up and work. And guess what? I'm ashamed to tell you this, guys. I'm ashamed to tell you that. I'm not ashamed to tell you that we sold 5,000 copies in less than about 2.5, 3 months. What I'm ashamed to tell you is it only took 3 months to write the book. Now, if it would have taken me like a year, I could say, well, that was the problem in 2003. I didn't have a year. 2005, I didn't have a year. But it took 3 months. What months? The summer months when I was off work. June, July, August. And of course, there was time, unfortunately, things happened with the publishing company, some stuff happened, but there are things that come to workers that don't come to people who just wish. And so I'm telling you in this room, for real, I promise you that this company, this is a great company. There are great opportunities in this company, and you're sitting back wondering why you're not getting it and why the other person is so successful, because they're not spending 24 hours wishing. They're spending 24 hours. You're not even saying it like you really believe in work. Like, you're not even saying it like you believe in work. Like, you're not even really saying it like you're passionate about work. You're like, working. I'm hoping that I can just wishing. And I can climb up in this company with wishing, and the only reason you can't is because the people who founded this company didn't do it by wishing. They did it by working, and so it's not fair to them that you just wish and become successful when they had to work. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. I used to think, can I be honest with you guys? I'm at Michigan State University, and there's some of our colleges, medicine, right? There's some law, business, which are like some of the #1 programs in the nation. I used to think it wasn't fair because they had these GPA requirements. I said, it's not fair. All the students got accepted at Michigan State. Why do you have to have a 3.5 to be a nurse? I don't get it. When I got my degree, I understood. It wouldn't be fair if just anybody and everybody could just get a degree and not have to work. Because guess what it would mean? It would mean your degree is worth nothing. If other people didn't have to work hard, didn't have to sweat, didn't have to stay up all night, didn't have to do research, didn't have to go to the library, didn't have to sacrifice sleep, didn't have to sacrifice work, didn't have to make sacrifices in life, if everybody just threw out degrees, they wouldn't be worth anything. So listen to me. It's some stuff coming to you in 2012. How do I know? I know because I put in work the first quarter in 2011, the second quarter in 2011, the third quarter, the fourth quarter. When I started this year started for me like no year's ever started for me before. I'm flying first class. That's never happened to me before. I was flying so much last year, I'm flying first class. And I don't think it makes a difference, but I like the warm towels. I'm not saying it makes a huge difference, but I like the leg room. I like not having to wait to hit the button for her to give me some water. I like to just look like I want water. And she's like, here you go. Right? I just kind of look at her. She's like, what would you like, Mr. Thomas? Can I have some more of that water, please? And so I'm telling you, there's some things that are going to come to you this year if you work versus wish. All right? Now, this is my most important one. I don't know if anybody, I'm a little older than most of you guys in the room, so I date back to Star Trek. One of my favorite parts of Star Trek, I got some Star Trek lovers in the house. I thought I was alone. One of my favorite parts when they beam me up, Scotty. It's my favorite part. But remember, to get beamed up, you had to be right in that right spot. You just couldn't be over here. Beam me up. You just couldn't get beamed up from anywhere in the ship. You had to get to that capsule, and when you got to that capsule, wow, beam me up. Now remember what I told you before. There's certain things that happen to people who just show up. The NFL yesterday, speaking to the NFL players, I wasn't even scheduled to do anything on Sunday night. I just came downstairs with my camera. I wanted to capture everything because when I do my stuff on YouTube, the kids who don't get an opportunity to go to San Antonio, I want them to see what San Antonio looks like before they get there. You missed what I said. There's some students at Michigan State, they only do well because they graduate. One friend of mine, he graduated with a law degree. His brother got a law degree. They passed on the first time. I said, man, you guys are so smart. He said, we're not smart. My father's a lawyer, my uncle's a lawyer. And we grew up our whole life talking about law at the dinner table. We're not smart. We were exposed to law. And so every time I go to a place, I take a picture, I put it on camera, I throw it on TV so that kids can see it and they can say, I can do that. If Eric Thomas can do it, I can do it. And so instead of just sitting in my room because I didn't speak to the next day, I said, let me get up and go around all the coaches, because when you position yourself properly, stuff just happens. Listen to me. I was a keynote presenter. I could have stayed in my room, right? But I got out because I want beam me up. Certain opportunities don't happen from your house. Why am I not growing? Why am I not on the top level? There are certain things that don't happen from your living room. I know your living room is comfortable. I know it's comfortable. I know you love your living room. You got like a little man cave, perhaps. But there are certain things that don't happen from there. And I just got dressed. I got my camera, and I started going downstairs. And as soon as I got to the bottom, one of the coaches says, oh, that's the truth. You're the guy from the video. We play your stuff every single day to our team in practice. We would love to have you on campus. Do you have a car? I say, I most certainly do. Because I what? I position myself. What is it? Positioning versus what? Come on. Positioning versus? Positioning yourself versus pouting. Right? And my son's always pouting. Anybody in the room, you have more than one child, you have two children, they seem like they came from two different worlds. It's like, where did you come from? Like we had both of you, but you are like totally different. Like you're like an alien. Right? And my son's that guy that always pouts. He's always looking for a handout. He's always wondering, like, I'm 16 years old. Why you do more for my sister who's 13? I'm 16 and I'm not getting the same thing she's getting. I'm saying you're not positioning yourself. You're bringing home C's and B's. Listen to me. Watch this, guys. Two total different children. I promise you. Well, at least my wife told me they both were mine. That's what she told me. I can only go by what she says. I've got one child. Wow, I picked my daughter up once when she was in middle school. It's the craziest thing. I got any fathers in the house? You got daughters? Any fathers with daughters? You know that's a special place in your heart. Special 4 girls. Special place. I pick up my daughter one day and she's crying like, those tears, crocodile tears. And I'm saying, what little boy hit my daughter? These teachers, they should have said something to that little boy. I'm grabbing my belt. I'm a professional on PTA. I'm a part of the PTA association, right? I lost it, though. I'm like, she cried. One of them little boys hit her. This daddy should be in his life. Like, I'm going through the whole scenarios. I'm grabbing my belt. I'm running out. Who hit you, baby? And the principal was like, hold on, Mr. Thomas. Let's they want to talk. Let's talk. I'm saying, no talking. You should have been talking to that little boy when he was hitting my daughter. And the principal stops. He asks my daughter, what happened? And he says, calm down. What happened? She said, I got a B in math. I said, what? Is that what you cried? Put my belt on. I'm all embarrassed now. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, sir. Let's go home. My daughter's crying. She got a B. She says, Dad, I'm going to just be on the honor roll. I don't want to be a patriot. I want to be an eagle. I want all A's. My son comes home. He's like, Dad, all C's. I passed all my classes. Woo! Woo! Let's celebrate. I'm like, let's celebrate, Dad. I passed every class, Dad. C's in all my classes. One was a C+. Total different expectations. Total different expectations. My son will pout, though, with the C's, and I don't do certain things for him. He'll pout, and I'll say, you're not working hard. Or why does my sister get this? And why does she get that? Because she's positioning herself. Every time I come home, she's washing the dishes. Your room is tough. You're not positioning yourself. There's certain things you want out of life, son. You want the finest things, but you're not willing to work for them. You cry about you don't get this opportunity, you don't get this break. This doesn't happen for you, but you're not positioning yourself. And that's why I'm excited you in this room today, because what it means today is you're positioning yourself. And after I spoke yesterday and the next keynote presenter came up, I grabbed out a piece of paper, I grabbed my pen, and I started taking notes. And they're looking like, why is this guy at the keynote? Why is he in this breakout session taking notes? Because I want to position myself for greatness. I don't know everything. I have not accomplished everything. I'm not where I want to be. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still trying to get better. You've got to position yourself and stop pouting. Stop crying. Stop looking at what other people are getting and look at what they're doing. And if you start doing it, you'll start getting it. You don't get out of life what you want. You get out of life what you earn. I told my son, you have not earned my pocketbook. Your sister had 13. She gets it. She's earned it, son. She cleans up her room. She cleans up the kitchen when she's not asked to. She does things that she's not asked to do. She's earned it. And you're still trying to get a handout. You think just because you're my son that you could demand things of me. You got to work. Because when you leave my house and you go out there, they're not going to give you any handouts. And so I'm teaching when you're here what it's going to be like out there. You got to earn it. So do me a favor. Position yourself. Stop pouting. Stop pouting. We've got 10 minutes. Listen to me. Change versus chatter. Change versus chatter. And I don't know if you heard what I said to you in the beginning. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. When I went to Michigan State University, it was a total different environment. It was a predominantly white institution. What does that mean? The language was different. The culture was different. The codes and the rules were different. So what did I have to do if I wanted to be? I had to make some changes. I had to take off the shirt. Didn't mean I had to not love my heritage anymore, but I had to make some adjustments because I was in a different environment. I had to change my writing skills. They told me there's a different style of writing at Michigan State, and I had to learn what that writing style was. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours in the library. I spent hours with tutoring. I spent hours with the professor, and I don't know if you were like me, but she put so much red on that thing, I was discouraged. I was like, maybe I shouldn't be in this program. Right, but I never quit. I never gave up. I didn't talk. I made the changes. I made the what? I made the changes that I need to make. I didn't say it's not fair. It's not fair. I'm the only minority in here. They should be making changes. They should try to accommodate me. That's not what I said. I didn't say it's not fair. They don't appreciate my writing style. I've been writing like this for 20 years. Why can't they appreciate it? I said I got to make some changes. Listen to me. You got to stop talking. Don't you hate this? I remember when I worked at Michigan State University, we used to have meetings every week. I don't know why we kept having meetings, but we had like 3-hour meetings and we never got anything done, but we kept meeting. But we never changed. Students still weren't graduating. The retention rate still wasn't any better in our department, but we met every week for 3 and 4 hours, and we talked about the same thing over and over and over and over with no results, no changing results. And so I need you to do me a favor. This year, if you listen to me, you can have it, you could do it, you could be it, but some changes have to take place. All right? We talked about this. Earn versus, come on, earn versus, we can have whatever we earn, but we can't always get whatever we, but whatever we're willing to earn, we can get it. All right, my final story, and most of you heard it. This thing is this dear to me. Story of the guru. I love the story because it's really about want. You can't stop a man. The question becomes, how do you stop a man? Listen to me. How do you stop a man? How do you stop a woman who knows what they want? And so before you leave this room, one of the things I need you to do for me is I need you to know what you want. That's how my life changed. I knew, listen to me, people say, Eric, what do you want? I couldn't tell you at 21 what I wanted, but I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want the life that I grew up with. I didn't want not to be in my children's life. I did not want to be in poverty. There were some things that I didn't want. I didn't want to be limited. There are certain things I didn't want. And so I made up in my mind that I had to make some changes and I had to have some desire. And so when I read this guru story, this story blew my mind. And the story, as most of you heard it on YouTube, is about a young man, sort of like yourself, who wanted to be successful. This young man wanted to be successful. I mean, he saw other people's success, and he was like, one day that's going to be me. I want it. As he was doing his research, he found that there was a guru locally who would help other people to be successful. And so he said, I got to meet this guy, man. I got to meet this guru, because if I can meet this guy, if I can link up with this guy, my life will change forever. And so he met up with the guru, and he said to the guru, he said, sir, I just want to be successful. That's all. I just want to be successful. And the guru said, do you really, really, really want to be successful? He said, I really, really, really want to be successful. He said, well, if you really, really, really want to be successful, meet me tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. He said, what time did you say? 5 o'clock in the morning. Meet me at the beach. And so the young man said, okay, all right, I really, really, really want this. I'm not used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll see you at 5 o'clock in the morning at the beach. The next day, the guru is right in the spot. He's right there. He's waiting for the young man. He's sitting there waiting for the young man. The young man, that's right, 4:59 he shows up, suited up. He's ready to go. He's got his shirt and his tie, and he's like, sir, I'm ready to be successful. And the guru says to him, listen to me, young man, you're not going to need that shirt. You're not going to need that tie. He said, what do you mean? He says that the first lesson, the first principle I'm going to give you, we're going to go out in the water to learn that principle. And the young man said, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I can't do it. He said, why not? He said, I just can't do it. I don't know how to swim. I can't do it. He says, okay, well, you don't want to be successful. And so he started to walk off, and as he was walking off, the young man said, all right. Even though I can't swim, even though I'm afraid, even though I've never really been out in water like this before, I want to be successful. And so the guru said, well, follow me out. And so they started to walk out in the water. And if anybody's ever been in the ocean before, you know there's that thunder and that roar that the waves make. He was nervous. He was afraid. He was scared, just like I was when I left Detroit and went to Alabama for college. But he had to walk out there. He had to walk out there just like I was when I graduated with my first degree, which took me 12 years, and then I went to Michigan State. Afraid to go out, afraid to step out in the deep, afraid of change, afraid of new. But he walked out there anyway, and as he began to walk out there, the water started to go to his ankle, and it was cold. And he started thinking to himself, like, maybe this is a bad idea. Like, maybe I shouldn't have joined this program in the first place. Maybe I shouldn't have put up this much money. Maybe I shouldn't have made this investment. Maybe they were right. I shouldn't have done it. But something in his heart said, keep on going and keep on going. And so he kept going, and the guru took him out further and further, and it got up to his knees. And before you know it, the water was waist deep. And he was thinking to himself, I can't swim. What if something happens while he's like, you know what? I don't know if this is smart. And so he hesitated for just a moment. And the guru looked at him and said, come on, son, come on out. Come out further. And so he went out a little further, and he got up around to his chest. And before you know it, it was around his shoulder area, and then it was at his neck, and then at his chin. And the young man said to himself, he said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. And as he began to turn and run away, just as he began to turn, the guru, for some strange reason, he grabbed the young man by the back of his head, and he pushed him under the water. And as the young man was under the water, all he could think about is, I can't believe it. I knew I shouldn't have done it. He said, but I'm not going to panic. This guy's crazy. I'm just going to sit here and pretend like everything is okay. And so 10 seconds went by, and he was able to hold his breath. 20 seconds went by, he was able to hold his breath. 30 seconds, he held his breath, and he was calm. About 40 seconds later, he felt he couldn't hold on anymore. 50 seconds later, he felt his life, he saw his life just flash in front of him. 60 seconds later, he started to fight and fight and fight and fight as he tried to get himself up, but he couldn't get himself up. The guru just held him down, and just when he thought it was over, the guru let him go. And he came up. He came up for air. He said, this old man crazy. And as he was walking out, the guru said, you got the story. You got the principle. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. And the young man said, you crazy. What do you mean you got it? You almost killed me. You almost drowned me. What do you mean I got it? He said, you understand now the first principle to success. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful, son. When you want it that bad, when you can't get enough sleep, you wake up early in the morning, son, when everything else is secondary to you, when every other sacrifice you're willing to make, you're going to be successful. But until you do that, until you want it as bad as you want to breathe, you'll never have it. And I'm here to tell you in this room today, by experience, starting from the bottom with nothing, 20 years later, I wanted it as bad as I wanted to breathe. And even failure wasn't enough to make me quit. Abandoned buildings wasn't enough to make me quit. Living in Detroit, 10 below, snowstorms, it wasn't enough to make me quit. And I stand here today successful, not money, not stuff, but the other things that I look at as success. And I stand here today because of it. So I'm telling you, you can have it, you could be it, you could do it, and you can be one of the best in this company. You can rise to the top. You can have everything you've ever envisioned but you gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. Thank you for your time.